My daughter won't speak to me. I want her back in my life. I want to start off by saying that I know I was the one who ruined our relationship, but it's been 3 years already. I just don't see why she can't come around. I miss her terribly, and she's my one and only girl, my only child. I should explain, I, 43M, married my current wife, 21F, 3 years ago. It had caused quite some backlash from my friends, my community, some of my family members, my ex, and of course, my daughter. But I had to marry my wife. She's the only one for me. She's beautiful, she's intelligent, she's a kind and caring woman. I knew my daughter would have some problems with my marriage, but I never expected how harsh she could have been. She begged me to end this marriage. She pleaded with my wife to leave me. I had to admit, I'm not proud of myself, but I told her that I wished she was never born, that I resented her and that she meant nothing to me. I already had a rocky relationship with my daughter. She never approved of my relationship with my wife, but we would at least have a talking relationship. Since that day she hasn't spoken to me since. If I am being honest, I miss her, and I decided to see on social media how she was doing. She's engaged. I am her father, and I found out about my own daughter's engagement through social media. That was when I knew I had made a serious mistake. I don't want to miss out on any more of her milestones in life. I contacted her through social media, but she had blocked me. I want to reach out to her again. I want her back in my life, but I need advice. Edit. I will be editing this post to answer some questions and paint a clearer picture. For one, I did not meet my wife when she was a minor. That would have been extremely disgusting, and I would seen her differently if I had. Everything about our relationship had been legal and there was clear consent. I met her when she was 18, we dated for a total of 8 months before we had gotten married. She had always been more reserved and shy, so we agreed on an elopement. I am not planning to have any more children in the near future. As for the relationship between my wife and my daughter, they weren't enemies, they were simply friends. She had started coming over and a relationship between us naturally developed. She was skeptical at very beginning, but I truly love her and I know she feels the same. I must also say, my wife is an adult woman, she is not some baby. The way that a lot of you consider her to be a child is frankly disturbing and hurtful towards her. She can make her own decisions, and she chose to be with me. Why else has she stayed by my side for 3 years? Update. I expected a lot of backlash when I had posted my first post regarding my issues with my daughter, but I hadn't expected the death threats and the accusations that I am a pedophile. I met my wife when she was 18 and an adult, that is that, and just know I am unbothered by the death threats. It just shows how immature some people can be. Now, I did end up meeting with my daughter, and I suppose I'm just posting this to get this all off my chest. I received a message from my daughter. She had unblocked me and sent me a brief message. She wanted to meet up and I was feeling hopeful. I thought maybe she realized that she needs her father in her life. Though, she followed it up by saying that my parents had pressured her into at least trying to speak with me. That hurt a bit. I thought she wanted to meet up and reconcile out of her own volition, but even if it was just pressure from my parents, I was still happy. This was my chance to make things right. On the day when we were supposed to meet up, I made a huge mistake. I lost track of time. I was busy with my wife. She was too cute to ignore, and well, one thing led to another, and by the time I remembered it was already 30 minutes after we were due to meet at the local park. I can't forget the look my daughter gave me. She almost seemed as though she didn't care and even expected this. I tried to explain myself the best way I could. I kept it vague and said I lost track of time, but she wasn't having any of it. I tried so hard to get through to her and explain that I was sorry, but she just coldly told me to make my parents leave her alone. She told me that I wasn't her father anymore, that she'd never forgive me for everything I did. She told me that if I or my parents ever bother her again, she would stop talking to my side of the family completely. I had to admit, I was getting a little angry, as my parents had done nothing wrong, but I held my tongue. To add salt to the wound, she told me I wasn't invited to her wedding and her maternal uncle would be walking her down the aisle instead. I felt broken. I wanted to make things work. I had to make things right. I kept trying to get through to her, but her fiancé showed up and they left, just like that. I couldn't even get another word in, she didn't even introduce me to the boy. I just feel like it's all over. My parents have been blowing up my phone, blaming me for screwing up and embarrassing them, but at least I still have my wife by my side. I feel so fucking alone, but with her, my life doesn't seem like a complete shithole. She's all I need.